or the space coast of, which is the east coast of Florida, or basically anywhere around the world, there are Yuri's Night parties happening all over the world, both in person and virtually. So go to yurisnight.net. April 10th is the annual Yuri's Night Day that celebrates Yuri Gagarin becoming the first human to venture into space on April 12th, 1961, and the inaugural launch of the first space shuttle on April 12th, 1981. So,
Sweet.
Yuri's Night uses space to bring the world together, to empower the greatest parts of who we are, and give vision to where we are going. This year, the LA celebration is April 8th, and it's at the California Science Center. There's also Space Coast, that is April 15th at the Kennedy Space Center. And there are many more independently run events. Go to yurisnight.net/events to find them. And that's what I got. Does anyone else have any?
I got one.
Oh, sorry. Elisa, you have another. Something just dropped that you wrote that you.
You're right. Thank you. You're right. I have been writing an interactive fiction graphic novel thing. It's kind of slightly choose your own adventure, but it's called Welcome to the Blood Bar. I just published 2 more chapters on it. Chapters 4 and 5 are out now, and the plot is getting juicy, y'all. It's like some things are happening. Hint: It's not just about a bar. It's also it's vampires. It's a vampire bar, and there's intrigue up the wazoo. Also, very special thing about chapter 4 is that one Caitlin Bruder made some beautiful blood cocktail art for this. So definitely play through the game. Once you get to chapter 4, you'll see Caitlin's art. Let us know what you think. Let us know how the story is going for you based on your choices. And it's called Welcome to the Blood Bar. You can see links all over my Twitter. Yeah, thanks, Caitlin. And what else? Oh, Noir, you have one more? Uh-huh.
8th is also a special day because it is my mama's birthday. I love you, Mom. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mama. Happy birthday. Mama Noir. All right. Well, in that case, I think we don't have any more announcements, right?
I exist!
Oh no, erasure. I'm so sorry for the trans erasure. I'm a bad ally.
Rand's day of visibility has already passed, therefore I'm not as visible. I get it. It's fine. It's all good. But I sense a certain degree of apprehension, and in that regard, you are just like fish who can sense each other's fear. If you want to know more about that, that is in fact the subject of my latest science up on my YouTube. Fish have empathy. Go find out how. youtube.com/@Delevely, Delevely. I love doing sciences. I do them every Tuesday morning, but I also finally get to return to doing them fictionally here on Clear Skies Perseverance. We're back in science. Let's go, baby. I'm excited.
With that, Mike, let's build. Oh, hello. We're back. Now, I have a lot of recapping to do because we've been away for a bit. So, here we go. Couple of episodes ago, we realized that by building a new ship and salvaging an older version of that ship, we had uncovered a bit of a mystery. There was a strange, ultra-thin structure that is lining the entirety of the space between the interior and exterior hull plating of a ship that's been set for salvage, the USS Bovell. This strange structure, which we're not sure if it's sentient, but we know it's made from organic silicon-based materials. The structure withstood laser cutting when a section of the ship was removed for salvage. We've also had various attempts at communication with it that have failed, although not known to the rest of the players yet, but Vivi, the Denobulan director of cabin design, who happens to also have ESP, she got a mental ping back from this structure. And it was not a thought or a feeling, but it was a sense of stretching and protecting. We also got Ensign Keela scrubbing the computer banks of the USS Bovell, the ship.
I'm on it!
And Ensign Keela found out some interesting recent history. So on this ship, they were deep into the Beta Quadrant, and after one of their away missions, some strange space dust was appearing, just kind of brushed off of their boots from returning back. It got past the y'all, what is that called?
Environmental.
We're still called that.
Transport.
Yeah. Transporter?
Transporters!
I was. Oh,
I
yeah.
blame COVID.
It's okay. I was like,
blame
COVID fog.
You're fine.
COVID
Oh,
fog.
shit.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You are
The
fine.
transporters. It got past the transporter filter somehow, and it was on the Bovell, but it didn't ping any alarms or alerts or further analysis. They just literally vacuumed it up and never thought about it again, and somehow it ended up in the hull, and has now turned into this strange encasing. So we also have Veluth, our Commander Veluth, who has requisitioned whatever is remaining of the Bovell to, instead of be scrapped and melted down back into its deepest, smallest components to be replicated again into parts, Veluth has requested, on behalf of Dr. Rylan Rion, the warp director, to take the Bovell and use it for experimentation and just try some things out. Veluth is curious about Rion's warp ideas and also has some ideas of his own. Now, that takes us to episode 4, the last session we did. At the top of that episode, we had all staff and residents of Utopia Planitia shipyards receiving an alert from Planetary Defense, a space weather alert. There was a fast-moving field of space debris on its return orbit to this part of the Sol system, and so they were going to get some incoming meteor showers. There are protective force fields that do a pretty dang good job of protecting most debris like this, but because it was such a dense storm coming in, they warned that some of them might get through. But while that was happening, before the meteor shower made its presence known, Ensign Keela, Lieutenant Junior Grade Tova Kaz, and Lieutenant Sosel Tyro, our science person, they were all gathered in the salvage building with the laser cut cross section of the USS Bovell, in which they had discovered, as we started calling it, Entitina.
You're welcome.
Named by Ensign Keela, and it rhymes with Ensign Keela.
It was a group effort in chat, though.
It came to a consensus in chat. Entitina. So these three folks came up with a plan to build a replacement piece of the hull and attempt to reattach it to this piece of the ship within a force field to see if Entitina would react to having more materials, perhaps more pieces of ship to expand into, perhaps. So that plan goes off almost without a hitch. Lieutenant Kaz is volunteered herself to attach the piece of hull from within the force field using a crane in an EV suit. Just then, as she has reattached it, 20 minutes go by, nothing happens. Entitina does not react. Entitina remains invisible to the naked eye. But then, the meteor shower gets stronger, and we start to hear some larger pieces of meteor impacting on the energy dome. This seems to activate Entitina. And Entitina lights up in an iridescent glow, encasing everything within the force field, including our Lieutenant Kaz. We now seem to be witnessing Entitina existing in a second state, activated by the worsening of the meteor shower. That is exactly where we leave off. We have Dr. Rylan Rian. We have Lieutenant Kaz inside the force field. We have Lieutenant Tyro outside the force field. We have Commander Valuth, who has actually asked Lieutenant Ty to give them 5 minutes before Lieutenant Ty goes rushing in to help try to save their fellow Trill. But before we go back to this moment, I want to check in with Vivi, our cabin designer. Vivi, what are you doing when the meteor shower gets worse?
What time of what time of like kind of operational hours is it?
I believe it's like like after lunchtime. So late afternoon.
Okay, so late afternoon. So Vivi is currently drinking just like a probiotic, just like something to get you moving during the day, along with like some green tea. She has been communicating with her 3 boyfriends and 3 girlfriends. They're all doing good. They say hi. And just kind of like catching up during her lunch break. But now that that's over, she can kind of hear that everything is going on. And I imagine at this point that the communication systems might be starting to show some of like the disruption from the meteor shower. Does that sound correct? Okay,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
she's
And
blinking
you
off.
would hear those impacts from up above too. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So there's the alert while I'm on the screen. And so just imagine like any Zoom meeting you've been on, but like sexy. It's like all Brady Bunch. And it's like all me communicating with all of my various paramours. Hey y'all, I'm so sorry that this is happening, but it looks like I'm in danger. It'll be fine. I'll go ahead and give you a call back later. Don't forget what I said to you. And she like looks over at a very attractive non-binary Vulcan person and is like, and hey, don't forget what I told you. Off-white is what? What is off-white?
Off-white is our calling in life.
I'm so lucky to have you all. Okay, bye. I hope I don't die.
Love you. Be safe. Don't die. The call cuts off. Right after you shut things off, that impact has been going on for less than 30 seconds. And all of a sudden, Vivi, your mind just gets this image, bright, iridescent color just washes over you. And for a second, that's almost all you can see. It feels like someone has drawn a veil over you. When you open your eyes, you're seeing the world through this iridescent glow.
Oh, wow. Reminds me of that time that I did the bad stuff at that party on Mars.
You
Okay.
feel this protectedness. You feel safe. It's a very strange feeling because it's also surprising and unexpected. But there's something about this that feels like you are being held.
And so Vivi reaches out with her ESP and reaches out with her mind to kind of see what is sending this like cuddly friendo energy.
Yeah, it's the same thing that you pinged earlier today. The thing in the ship in salvage
Hello?
and in orbit.
Hello? Vivi's kind of reaching out. Hi, I don't know if you remember me. Hi, we met a little while ago. Do you happen to be what's going on with the loud noises in the meteor shower? 'Cause I think that's really messing things up here. And I feel like we have like some really good communication going on right now, like shivers crawling from like all of the love and support and protectiveness. So I feel like you probably don't want anyone to be injured. So if that is you, could you not?
Go ahead and Let's do an ESP. Okay, so I always have to
Maybe
reread
pick the task.
Yeah. At any point during play, you may ask the game master for hints or insights about the current situation. May offer you information. Each hint adds 1 point to threat. So it's up to you, actually. If you'd like to see if you get a response from this, you can. You would be giving me 1 point of threat to give you some information here, but you don't have to. It's up to you.
I say fie in the name of danger. Give me that threat.
All right. I will take that threat. Thank you. And you, again, don't get what feels like... Sorry, crinkly sound. You don't get what feels like a response from a person speaking language. You get a reaction. And the reaction is hold. If you were to give it a word, if you were to give it a direction, it would be hold.
Hold?
Yes, hold. With that urgency, with that desperation. Hold.
Oh, you've seen some real bad stuff. So Vivi kind of, I guess now that like she, now she's just gonna like completely rely on her ESP and not try to make words with the creature, and she's just sending out, just to kind of like vibe of "I'll hold you back" / "Are you okay?"
Nice. You feel it when you give it that sense back of holding it back. You feel drawn towards salvage.
Okay, I guess I'm going to salvage. Vivi gets up and starts walking over to salvage.
Okay, and one thing I will tell you, Vivi, there are people walking around between where you are and where salvage is. You definitely are around people. None of them seem to react strangely to you.
Okay, just go into salvage.
Okay, so you're heading that way. You'll appear there in just a few moments. Back in salvage, we have, I believe all of you. Ensign Keela, would you like to have come back at this point? You're muted. Unmute yourself, though.
Muted.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be a good idea to unmute myself. I have a feeling as soon as, people like, Lieutenant Kaz is like floating in the air and being possibly a security threat, I would definitely be back in salvage, considering that one of my people might be not okay. Yeah. I mean, sure, I don't know what I could do. Physically, I'm not going to jump in there, but I will be there to observe and see if my skills come in handy.
So actually, let's say this. You're on your way back to salvage, and you run into Vivi, who's also on her way to salvage. You all kind of meet up in the courtyard and walk over to salvage together.
I see we're heading in the same direction.
Yeah, it seems like some really bad things are happening over at salvage, and I'm not sure.
What do you mean bad things? How do you know this? As I'm looking through my report, because nothing's been sent out yet to people in the you know what I mean.
Yeah, let's do a little talk and walk. So there's this feeling that I've been having from that ship where it almost feels like there's another essence in it, and it doesn't feel bad or wrong. It feels like it's trying to, well, it feels like it's trying to snugs up, but it feels like it's trying to snugs up because it's trying to do that as a form of protection.
Do you mean to tell me you've been in contact with Ententina this entire time? As I'm like looking through all my files of me, I've been trying to communicate with this entity for, Oh, why did I even think about asking you? Of course I should have asked a telepath. And I'm like pissed off.
Wait, their name is Ententina? Is your name Ententina?
Well, that's not the actual, we don't know the name. We can't communicate with the entity. I just gave it that to give it some kind of thing besides it.
So Vivi, as walking and talking, sends out her ESP. Hey, do you like Ententina? Or is there something else that we should call you? Oh, you're muted.
I'm gonna have you actually roll to see how much communication you can get out of this thing.
I knew I was going to push it too far before I had to make a roll.
No, if you're like,
all right,
just
so
like, Hi, what's up? You up?
checking in?
Yeah.
I'm
New
gonna
combat.
say
Who this?
This is either
Okay.
presence or insight and command.
Okay, so this will be presence,
Yeah.
insight, or command.
Presence or insight, and then definitely command.
Okay.
But your insight and presence are pretty equal.
Yeah.
Also, we can look at your focuses. Let's see, interior design, holistic healing, fine art.
Yeah, I
foodie,
think I'll
cultivating
do.
culture. Not quite.
I think for this one, I will do insight. And then so for this task, yikes. Well, one of them rolled a 20.
Oh,
Not good.
interesting.
It's the opposite.
Not great. Not great. The other one is an
yeah.
8. The other
I
one
haven't
is an
given
8.
you
So
the
it doesn't matter.
difficulty.
It's all bad.
Well,
The
no.
difficulty it would have been 2. The 8 sounds like a success because we
Yeah.
know, that's a success. The 20 is not a success.
Which is bad.
I'm also looking at your talents, but never mind. That's not going to apply here. You have a talent that could apply for something like this. Okay. So, oh, no, never mind. I'm still looking at your talents. La la la.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, excuse me. Never learned how to sneeze like a little kitten.
Engaged in social conflict. Yeah, none of this is social conflict. You have a couple of social conflict things, which is great. Keep that in mind for the future, because who knows. But
Yeah, and
anyway.
I do also have I have infectious nature.
Yeah, that's
as
what
one
I
of
was
my
looking
talents.
at.
Yeah.
I was looking at that. But here in this present moment, you failed that roll, and so all you get back is hold. Hold.
Okay, well, Aunt Tina ain't talking. She's kind of really, or they are kind of really caught up in everything that's happening, and they seem afraid.
Well, we have a circumstance happening right now, so we got to get to salvage quickly. But
Okay,
I feel
cool.
like you definitely should be coming, especially if you have been in communication with this entity. I can't believe I didn't think about coming to you in the first place. Ah! And as I'm like looking through my files again, just so frustrated at myself for not thinking about this. Ah!
I mean, to be
tried
fair, people really only come for me for interior design or straight chilling. So
Yes.
I completely
Yes, I know.
understand.
Off-white, off-white.
Off-white. Off-white. It is our purpose. It is our ministry.
We're walking and talking.
You all enter the salvage building, and you see the scene as has been described. There is a force field around this 3-level deck slice carve out from the Bovell. There is what looks to you like a force field inside a force field, strangely. But Vivi, you recognize through that kind of gauzy filter that's over your eyes right now, your vision, you can see the beautiful, strong, pulsating glow of this Entitina around the ship section and around Lieutenant Kaz. It fills you with such warmth, and it kind of just resonates with the way that you have felt that iridescent glow around you.
Ooh, I wish I were seeing what I was seeing right now. So again, I reach forward with my ESP and try to talk to Entitina. I'm like, hey, I think that you have somebody in your force field. Would it be okay if you stopped?
Okay. This is going to be more difficult. But yes, you can absolutely. Now I am going to say presence command, because you are trying to give it a direct order, trying to kind of schmooze Entitina.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if I have anything
Difficulty
to help to
3.
Would you
assist.
like a momentum?
And you know what? I will say that this is social conflict now. Because this is, you are trying to get this thing to do something that is a social interaction. Whether or not it's sentient, we don't know, but you are trying to affect something that you are having a conversation with at this point. So,
I obviously can't assist in any way because I'm not telepathic, but I have a focus in linguistics, and I'm thinking like maybe like try to communicate this way. Could I assist? Is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah. I will say, you, Vivi and Keela, if you have some conversation about potential linguistical ways to talk to this thing, absolutely, you can use that as an assist.
So I'm gonna pull Vivi aside and be like, if we're trying to communicate with this entity, we need to use simple words, don't even think about having a conversation with it. Almost like give it a feeling. Like if it feels like it's being threatened in any way, give it feelings of peace, give it feelings of friendship. I don't understand I don't know how to make it as simple as that. We just have to make sure if we're trying to communicate with this creature or entity of some kind, we want to make sure that it knows that we're not a threat.
Right. Permission to hug?
Me?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And Vivi just throws her arms around and snuggles real close. This is the language. I don't know what to tell you. This is the language.
Great. I'll roll for this.
Okay.
What am I rolling for?
So one die for that linguistics help. Let's see.
Good Lord.
I would say like reason science even.
Reason science.
Yeah,
Interesting.
reason science
geez,
for the
okay.
linguistic help. So one die for you, Bonnie. And then
Yeah.
Danielle, this is difficulty 3, presence command. And
I'm taking a picture. I rolled a crit.
good.
No.
I wrote a start. I
A
swear
good
I'm taking
crit,
a
right?
picture.
A
so
good
you,
crit?
yeah.
Okay.
The one crit.
All right. Okay.
The-
So
I'm texting it to you so you know I'm not lying.
All right,
Yes.
and I rolled a 9. Come on, baby. And another 9.
all right. Okay, that's two more successes.
Yeah.
That's a powerful hug you got there, Vivi.
Okay.
Thank you. I practiced in Orth doing ayahuasca.
Yeah, so between that conversation with Keela, the hug, and also just kind of like tuning into this, you're getting this, it's affecting your vision somehow. No one else seems to notice it, so it's not an external visual physical thing that's happening, but this thing seems to be in your head and you're in its head. So because of this connection you have with it and the advice from Ensign Keela to communicate and that hug inspiration you got, you tell it, hug. You give it that sense of a hug, the feeling of closed arms around someone else. And it responds. It kind of gently loosens its hold. And it feels like it goes from hold to hug. And you all outside of the force field see it loosen and gently set Kaz back down. Does not release, but gently sets back down. And you see that iridescent structure kind of gently wave and loosen itself. Yeah, now I'm trying to remember. Last time we tried to transport, I think it was maybe a failed roll. It was very hard because of
the force fields around it.
yeah. So, yeah, I'll
But
say
I'm here now. I can security is on it.
we also have had now Vivi has gotten it to do something.
Right.
So I would say this needs to be in tandem with Vivi commanding this thing.
Right.
In order for this to even be able to be rolled. So, how would you all like to approach this?
So I'm still hugging. So I'm still there. I'm still hugging Ensign Keela.
As I'm in the hug, I'm like, okay, great. Now would maybe be a good time to tell the entity to let go. And by doing so, maybe let go of me.
Okay.
As you say it.
Okay.
But
So
in
yeah,
a peaceful way.
So Vivi starts kind of slowly, as her brain thinks of the idea that you can love something even from afar and your love still means something, starting to slowly untangle from Ensign Keela, while kind of doing that thing that moms do when you're about to go on the airplane, where it's like they hug you and then they kind of go back, kind of like touch your face and just like, and like slide down the arms, not sexually, like comforting, like hold your hands a little, and then like step away with grace and knowing that the world is going to make sure that you're okay.
I slowly like keep your hands away from my ears though. Like, we're good. We're good. Yep. It's very comforting, but
No umox for you today?
not today. I'm good. This is, the hug was nice and all, but I've got dinner plans.
All right. Okay, so Vivi, I'm going to have you roll to assist for the transporter.
Okay.
And actually, I think, Rion, you were on the transporters before, so let's make this a Veluth assist as well. Okay. So, Veluth, you're doing this as like a command, like, quick, transport her out now, that kind of thing, okay?
I will say when Tova was lowered, I think she just kind of goes, "Oh, thanks." And it's like trying to stay like very still. I believe I failed a composure roll earlier, so she got
you were
all freaked out. So she's
Yep.
like, oh, thanks for that. And then it's just waiting.
Also, as soon as they're doing their rolls and stuff, as soon as Vivi finally kind of like lets go of the hug and stuff, I'm gonna make my way over to Ty and just kind of put my hand on their shoulder just to let them know that I'm here, because I can tell that they're distraught from all this as well.
You want me rolling
Okay.
for the station? Is that what
Yes.
you were saying? Or okay.
All right, and I rolled a 5.
Actually, yeah, I'm rearranging this slightly. Vivi's still assisting with one die, presence command again. And then, sorry, no, that's for Vivi. And, well, yeah, for you too, Veluth, presence command. Wait, actually, bleh. Veluth, would you like to actually be on the transporters right there with, are you like trying to manually do it as well? Okay, then you will lead this roll, okay? And Rion, you will roll for Utopia Planitia.
Okay. So that's
I'm
gonna
imagining
be...
that the both of you are kind of on the transporter controls, kind of assisting each other.
Okay.
All right. So let's get what these roles are. So for Veluth, transporter is going to be control engineering. For the ship, or for the star base.
Computers engineering.
That sounds right. Yeah, sounds great. And the difficulty is going to be 2, reduced from 4, well, reduced pretty way down, but difficulty
rolled-
2 because of all the success Vivi has been having.
I rolled a 1, but that doesn't count if the leader fails the roll. So keep that in mind.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Veluth has to succeed, have at least one
Yeah.
success. Uh-huh. In what way? It's like jazz. Do, 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 transport her up,
that's my
transport
value.
her down. Yes, yes, you can. Oh, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I can hear you, Noir. Oh, weird.
Yeah, there's some chat is experiencing this stream differently than we are. And
Oh,
I'm not really
goodness.
sure what's
Oh,
no.
happening with that.
I'm sorry.
Chat,
I'm
are
trying
you
to be
okay?
as loud as I can.
To give us to pause us for a second while we troubleshoot that. Oh, okay, all right. I was gonna tell a little story because on TikTok, my favorite TikToker is, her name is Tanara Double Chocolate, and it's this lady who just like does the voiceover of really those like horrible dumb recipes that people do. That's like, put all the beef on all the tortillas, and like it's so dumb. But my favorite is just watching her, and she's at the end of the videos, people are eating the nasty food they just made, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna taste it now? Are you okay?"
I love her.
So funny to me. Are you okay? Oh, you good? You good?
Everybody's so creative.
Everybody's so creative. Everybody's so creative.
Oh,
I love her. I love her. I love her so much. So anyway, can everybody hear everyone else right now?
yeah, I think they can hear me.
Are you okay, chat? Are you okay? Okay. All right, we're
Can't
good.
go
We
down.
good. We good.
Go down easy if it's cheesy.
It ain't gonna slide down easy if it ain't cheesy.
Can I use improv? I
Yes,
can't say. I
you're-
can't words right now.
You got
Yes.
improvisation. We got you.
Yep,
All
you
right.
can use that as a focus.
All right. In that case,
roll
the
your
first
2
roll
dice.
is the first roll is going to be a crit. I rolled a 3.
Snaps.
And my engineering is 5.
Mm-hmm.
And the second roll is a 13, which is still less. The total, it was security and control, right?
I believe you were control and engineering were what
Yes.
you were rolling on.
All right, then the second one's a success as well. So it's a crit and a success.
So I'm counting 3 and then 1 from Utopia Planitia. And then, Vivi, did you roll your 1 die?
Yeah, I rolled a 5.
All right, that's 5 successes. So bank those 3 extra momentum. All right.
On an assist. I think Eric rolled a 1.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It wasn't a crit. So, yeah, that's another success. So 6. 6 successes. Amazing.
Wow.
Success.
All right. So, yeah, Dr. Rylan Rion and Valuth, you all like jazz. And also almost like you're close-up magicians doing a trick together. You kind of cross hands and are kind of like pushing certain things up and certain things down to get the perfect calibration through not only a force field, but also Entitina, who has now relaxed even more. And you're able to beam Lieutenant Kaz out.
All right, so I'm just gonna step away from the transport and walk over to Ty and say, Lieutenant's safe, and that was 4 minutes.
Of course, Commander. I'm going to go check on the lieutenant now.
Please.
4 minutes is such a terribly long time, don't you think?
Doesn't say anything, just...
I'd like to look over Lieutenant Cass.
Was standing there like looking to see if she's still like iridescent anywhere. Like,
Lieutenant, do you mind if I...
oh, yeah, go for it. And just like holds out hands.
medical tricorder.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to, let's do that as a roll, yeah?
Just before I escort her to a qualified physician.
Yes, just a once-over, sounds
Right.
like.
Exactly.
So, control
In
medicine.
case she's radioactive.
I mean, who knows? Maybe.
I mean, I have news. We'll talk later. All right.
Control
tricorder-
medicine, difficulty
Yes.
1.
Okay, difficulty
down
1.
from 2 because you're using the tricorder.
Take a momentum.
I will.
Yeah, we have
Use them
enough
well.
of them.
Yeah, we
Use it, yeah, use them while they're hot.
Yeah.
Nobody leave this scene until we use all the momentum.
No momentum baking.
Let's see. That is 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 successes. Okay, y'all are maxed out on
Ooh.
on momentum. Yep, you do this scan with your tricorder. Everything seems to be okay. You're not picking up any parts of Entitina on or in Lieutenant Kaz.
Okay.
However, with all those successes, if you spend 1 more momentum, one of your extras perhaps, your floating ones, I can tell you. Your tricorder is picking up something else on someone else in this room. You are getting very strong Entitina energy from Vivi.
I am a science officer by talent, which, let's see. Oh, I don't get it. I wasn't using computers or sensor. Or using a tricorder. Yes, I do. I do it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I generate 1 bonus momentum, which may only be used on the obtain information spend. Science officer's a great gig, isn't it, Elisa? So to that end, there is a connection of some kind on what wave band?
Doesn't seem to be physical. You're not picking up any atoms or molecules of Entitina on or in Vivi. The energy, though, seems to be radiating from Vivi's brain.
So also, I suppose, fundamentally electromagnetic in nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a glow. Not visible to the naked eye. There's some type of energy, I should say, rather than glow, because we think of glow as something we see. This is like an energetic.
Like an aura.
I don't know. She was very cuddly just now. She could have a certain glow about her. But I'm going to send that data back to my lab station for further analysis at a later time point. Are you feeling all right, Lieutenant?
Yeah, I mean, that was very strange. But I think I'm okay. I don't know, it didn't hurt or smell bad or do something besides, I guess, the lifting. So if the tricorder says I'm okay, then I guess I agree.
Well, it would be better to confirm with the chief medical officer at the station, but
Do I have
provisionally,
to? Right
do
now?
you avoid doctors?
No, but there's a really cool. She kind of like gestures at the voice code. It's really cool. I don't want to. What if I miss something cool?
Surely you've had enough.
Well, then I thought I did, and then I got out, and now I'm on the other side of the force field, and now it's cool again. So, 5 more minutes.
Of all the times to cite, 5 minutes. I flip
go for
open my tricorder and I'll run an ongoing scan. And just in very large block numbers, the countdown.
Uh-huh. Okay. 5 minutes are set on the timer. All right. Vivi, what was the last... Because you gave Endatina a command that helped it loosen enough to release Kaz and get Kaz out. What was the command you gave it? Knowing that it has been communicating to you with these, like, gestures almost, these hold, and then you were able to give it hug as a new word for it. What was the next one you gave it to have it release?
An old Earth proverb: if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it was meant to be.
Yeah. How would you, like, would it be just like release, maybe?
Yeah, just like a
Okay.
almost like like the feeling of a woo-saw, like you can set your burdens down. Like
Yeah. Okay. So you have 3, it seems like you have 3 words or commands or gestures that you can communicate with this thing now.
yes.
Okay. So, you all, yes, what is next? You all are now standing around salvage. Lieutenant Kaz has been released. Entatina, by the way, the bubble that was kind of holding Kaz has kind of just reformed, just kind of retaken shape into the rest of Entatina, and it is now just a very loose bubble. It's not as like taut as it was before.
Was it, like when you have melting glass that, like, was it contiguous when it was
Yeah.
bubbling down?
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's a great way to describe it, Sam. There was like an offshoot, like a bloop, and then a bubble that Kaz was within.
I think Valuth would, now that we have our personnel recovered, would immediately order that this area be quarantined and only necessary personnel be allowed near it. If he overheard that V was making mental contact with it, he would establish the order that that communication is to be monitored, and would probably assign someone to keep an eye on V to make sure nothing happens to her, if that's okay.
Okay. How do yeah, do you want to just order that, or are you asking?
Also, first off, I want to make sure that's okay with Danielle.
Yeah, totally.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah, Valuth would immediately go quarantine the area. I want security stationed outside the door. No one comes in or out without me knowing immediately.
And me, as I'm in the middle of files, still very upset that I didn't think about this first.
Of course. In fact, in Senkila, I would love for you to be the one to keep watch on V here to make sure that you can monitor her behavior. If you notice any discrepancies, any anomalies, please report it immediately and take the to sickbay.
Wait, you mean I have to watch Vivi?
Yes.
Okay.
Is-
And report if she's acting unusual?
Yes.
She's always unusual. How would
Maybe-
one know?
I suppose
I'm going to turn to Vivi. How are you feeling right now? To Vivi. On a scale of 1 to 10, are you disturbed by this communication?
I think that Entitina is flooding me with endorphins. I feel really good. I feel like I just went on a really long hike.
I turn to Valoof. She's basically drugged.
Well, if your current understanding of her behavior is that of one that is unusual, I would ask that you would report if she were to begin acting as you would describe as usual.
Understood. It's my duty to do this. I turn to Vivi and I'm like, looks like we'll be spending a little bit more time together.
Oh, that's fantastic. I have been wanting to talk to you about jewelry since I came here.
Great.
There's no one I trust more with this very important assignment.
Keela's so excited.
All right. So,
Bonnie secretly really is, but
This is like Odo and Cork, but like backwards.
yeah. It really is. Oh my gosh, you're right. Great. Can't wait to spend more good old quality time with my bestie Vivi.
Yeah, I want to talk about jewels. Let's talk about more jewels.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
do that.
So, where are Vivi and Keela heading? And as in tandem with that question, I believe there was talk of Ty doing deeper scientific, possible with a sense of biomedical scans on Kaz and Vivi. Is that correct? Is that the idea?
I would certainly not give up the opportunity if they are so inclined.
Okay.
Again, I know in Kaz's case in particular, the CMO will do a perfectly adequate job of getting scans, but a few of my own might serve me better. And likewise, if there are things to know in this intervening
Are
5
Vivi and Kaz
minutes.
just like sitting on like a bench, just like hands clasped, just like being told to sit while they get like the two of them get scanned?
No,
We just have to,
you also
sit
get
and
cookies
wait.
like a blood draw.
Yeah.
Yay! And Kayla's just standing over, like, shadowing Vivi. Like, basically, is just planning on following Vivi around like a good little observant person. Just,
Nice.
you do whatever you do that's normal to you, and I will follow and make sure it's not unnormal.
Do you mean my duties for the rest of the day or what I'm doing here?
Oh, yes.
All of them. Okay, so we're gonna leave this and I'm gonna go resume to my regular duties then?
As soon as Lieutenant Ty gives you the okay to.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
So it
just
sounds
be
like
Pretend I'm your little fly on the wall.
Okay, fantastic. So while we're figuring all of this out, I'm just gonna go through and look at. I'm just gonna look at some more linens. If you want to see now, this one. Look at that thread count. That can't be beat. And Vivi just starts talking about like linens and other kind of things that would go into decorating cabins.
This is Keela's personal hell. Bonnie's secretly enjoying it, but
Can we get an estimate of how many times you're cursing Valuth under your breath?
The limit does not. Oh, you mean Keela?
luckily, the Universal Translators does not translate my thoughts. Cursing you in Ferengi.
So, sounds like the four of you are going to head over to biomedicals. Tyro's offices. And so the four of you exit. Rylan, Rian, and Valuth, you are still here, and you also witness, after Valuth, you gave the orders to the salvage crew about having a constant watch and quarantining. The two commanders have been putting that into place and kind of calling in reinforcements from security and just kind of getting stations set up for that. What do the two of you do at this point?
Rion's been just watching all of this, and as he's staring ahead and listening to the conversations, he finally just sitting there quietly, rubbing the side of his head. He's going to turn to the commander and be like, Commander,
Yes.
why would you put a secondary warp core in the second half of a starship that does not have a deflector dish?
It is Starfleet protocol. Until Starfleet can be convinced that their standards need to be changed, it will remain Starfleet protocol. There is no way to change it other than that.
I have an idea.
I would love to hear it.
Is Kaz going to be okay? I just realized that was a thing that happened just now.
I understand your concern. We have the very best in our medical facility. Should there be any issues with Kaz, I'm certain that Starfleet Medical will identify the issue and find a solution, or find someone who can find a solution.
Was our meeting today? He looks down at his pad. I have us down for having a meeting.
It was.
Can we do that now? Are you busy?
Well, if I am to guess, I'd imagine that I'm going to have a very unpleasant conversation with Ty later. I do not think that
Why is that?
I do not think that they were pleased with my course of action and finding a solution to the problem that we just resolved. So, no, I am not busy.
What if I missed?
Lieutenant Kaz, in the midst of their duty, was apprehended by this unknown entity, and rather than simply allowing Ty to go in themselves, I opted for a solution that would only put one Starfleet personnel's life in danger rather than multiple. I believe that Ty will see this as... me not caring. But it is quite the opposite. It is because I care very much that I was only willing to risk one Starfleet personnel than many.
Are you telling me this for a reason, Commander?
I believe that I need to get... I believe the phrase is, get this off of my chest.
Oh, see. Well,
But in regards to our meeting, Doctor,
yes, our meeting. Suffice to say, though, they're a Starfleet officer. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. You're the commanding officer. I'm sure it'll be fine.
though Starfleet does its very best, in tense situations, it's difficult not to allow one's emotions to compromise their decision making. I believe that Ty will make the argument that I have no emotions, therefore I was callous. I believe that Ty was the one that was in fact emotionally compromised. This, I believe, will be the main source of conflict in our conversation later.
I cannot tell if you are cynical or logical in this matter, Commander.
I tend to find that non-Vulcans have a very hard time separating the two.
Yes. Yes, I have to agree with that. I am the only child in my family that had a consistently healthy relationship with my mother. In that, as someone who has a very methodical way of thinking, I understood her, I think, more than the others. And I've seen her also deal with people who didn't understand the Vulcan way. I don't know that that's high, however.
Ty has a mind that is very complex. I would not be surprised if my estimation of what was going through that mind is slightly flawed. I will say in my defense, being in a position of power and privilege means that I forgo the privilege of allowing myself to give way to whatever emotions that I would feel. I have to bear the responsibility of the lives of everyone at the station.
If I may, Commander,
Yes.
my mother is Vulcan, and she is the captain of a Federation starship. And she once told me that command is not a privilege, it is a burden. And it is important to keep that in mind. That even though you are in a position of power, you don't owe your subordinates an apology unless there has been a gross violation of your duties. You made a command call and did your best. And from there, that's on Ty to get over.
I hope that you are right.
Oh no, I'm right. I'm just not a Starfleet officer. I don't have an emotional investment in this. Plus, I happen to know that Ty is an incredibly resilient individual. If they are pissed off at you, they'll take it out in different ways. Don't ever play Parisi squares with Ty. Our meeting, though, I really have been incredibly patient, Commander.
Of course. Valuth is going to pull out a pad and hand it to the doctor. And the pad is the requisition sheet for the ship that we are salvaging. And it has when we can expect to have the ship at the station for our own experimental use.
This is excellent. The modifications that I want to make to the Ross class are actually not anywhere near as extensive as you might think. But it will.
I hope so.
There is a matter of the innovation that Starfleet is trying to deny me doing, and I've made a decision about that. I'm either going to be allowed to perform my job or I will resign.
Understandable.
Let me go ahead and give you my pitch, though. Can we do this here, or do you want to go to your office? I require the use of a holographic projection of some kind to show you what it is I have in mind, or if you have something I can write on. I suppose we could write on the hull of this ship. Rather large for a whiteboard, but I could make the attempt. It's more efficient if we use a hologram.
Then I suppose it would be best to hold this meeting in my office. Come, we'll walk and talk.
right. So the two of you exit salvage and
Yeah. The
walk
last
and
thing,
talk your way.
as we leave after a few moments before the door closes and says, now that we're walking, I find I don't have anything to say as the door closes.
Rian is all of us. Okay, so we'll pick back up with that conversation in a moment. But first, let's go back over to biomedical. Ty, you open that door and usher in your three companions here from salvage. And we haven't. We've only momentarily seen biomedical, but we haven't seen it in its full glory. The day of the tour, one of your actually like second in command, your kind of assistant, think of them as like an executive assistant, so they hold a little bit more power than just an assistant.
They're a bit like a postdoc. Yeah.
Yeah. Very high up, your right-hand woman. She was actually out on vacation that day, but now she's back in the office, and so the normal state of this office is low gravity. That has been activated again for your postdoc associate, and I'm pulling up her name, but she is part of the species that in DS9, for those of you who watch the show, there's a species, I believe they're called the Malorians, who are low
Her
grav.
name was Melora. She's Elazian, I believe.
Elazian, thank you. Yes, that's perfect. She is an Elazian in that episode, and their physiology is different because the planet that they evolved on was very low gravity, so they can float, they can fly basically, and so when they have to come and live on 1G or 1.15G or even 0.8G, it's very difficult for them in those types of environments. But Ty, advocating for your postdoc assistant, you were able to have this entire section of the building and your offices, your lab, converted into an anti-grav chamber. So what that means is that people are, you have desks that are kind of like halfway up the wall. You have people who are kind of like sitting on stools that jut out from the side. It is almost a 3D version of a lab. Every
Belter's
wall
dream
is
come
in
true.
use. Yeah. And so that's what you all kind of walk into, and your feet just start to lightly step on the ground. And if you were to just kind of dip down into your knees and push gently up, you would be afloat.
Vivi would remember, of course, having consulted with the lab to residence transfer to ensure that the whole area for my postdoc would be a consistent sub-1G environment.
Absolutely. Vivi was a part of requisitioning this and a part of designing it as well.
Vivi does immediately just start bouncing around.
Yeah. Jashana, who is the postdoc associate or assistant, just kind of floats over and says, oh, you're back. Hello. And you brought some guests. Jashana is in her 20s. She looks humanoid. She has this like very deep, dark blue hair that is very straight and heavy. And her skin is kind of like a deep caramel color. And she floats over to you and she says, welcome to Biomeds. What's the occasion? Are you all having lunch here, or to what do we owe the pleasure?
Interaction with an unknown entity, the nature of which is to be determined here in Bionano research. So if we can ready our functional imaging for neural and, well, let's start there and see where everything takes us.
Neural imaging coming right up. Also, I should mention, actually, I'm going to do this as Jashana. I should mention everyone who comes to visit us in Biononos has to wear a t-shirt. And she pulls out Bionono t-shirts and hands them to Vivi, Keela, and Kaz.
Vivi is still kind of floating away, so like horizontally goes onto the other thing, just like, whee! Like grabs the shirt and she's
Yep, she tosses it over to you.
People
And
in
she's
the
also
lab don't
wearing-
even look over. It's a very fidget-friendly
Yes.
environment. You are probably not the only one. You'll have people who are just like have
Up, down, constantly.
elastic cord so you can push off the wall. It'll just bring you back in.
Oh my god. The dream, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so, and yeah, you notice that many of the lab assistants and staff in here have Bio No t-shirts with under their lab coats. But Joshana floats over to a chamber that's off in a corner, and she starts kind of pulls out a tricorder and starts calibrating some things to start a neural scan.
I see Vivi kind of bouncing around, and I'm gonna kind of rein her in to get her to some kind of seat or something. I don't know. I'm just gonna, like, and as I'm doing this, I'm like, Vivi, rule of acquisition number 23. Nothing is more important than your health except for money. And right now, we don't have any of that. So
Chill.
maneuver yourself here.
Vivi is currently upside down and looking at her, not like they're gonna kiss, but just like, I mean, like it's Spider-Man upside down, and she's like, I know you tell me this because you care, and starts trying to like, because she's still filled with all that empathy and good feelings, and starts to like pull herself down and go take a seat where she's been told.
Good feelings. Yes, that's what. Yes, sit here and feel good.
When those two kind of bounce away, Kaz, I think, has been kind of like high, like attentive, like paying attention, listening, kind of excitable. And then I think as soon as we got in here, there was kind of a shift of like introspection of like, oh, should I actually be worried about this kind of a thing? And then she kind of like, I think just like knocks on your elbow, like in front of her, just like very gently, and goes, I know we haven't like talked about this before. I'm new. Do I need to be worried about Kaz? Or like, should I like be, is like there like a symbiont health is a new, like, I haven't been here, me like this for very long. Should I like be more worried?
You're newly joined to Kaz?
Mm-hmm.
How long?
Like a year, I think almost a year. A little over a year. Space travel messes kind of all of my concept of time up, but I don't think I really had that anyways. Yeah, year-ish.
Well, I guess that contextualizes your isobormine levels a little bit. It always takes a couple years for them to even out. Newly joined. I would love to give you a firm answer, but this is an unknown entity. We don't know yet. It's why perhaps I'm a touch cautious.
That makes sense. Yeah, yes.
There's no reason at this point to believe that there is any specific interaction. And they pause for a moment, and their eyes cut just a little bit to Vivi and back, like they've realized that might not be entirely true. After they've said it. But they don't correct themselves.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess where do you want us? Me and Vivi not being cat. Like, yeah.
There's a nice exam area there. Are you claustrophobic?
No. Why?
Okay. I always ask. People react differently to imagers, and it's not the sort of thing one wants to be surprised about. That feels unkind.
Oh, I spent a lot of time in Jeffrey's tubes. Theoretically, I'll be all right.
How long have you been a salvager?
Oh, wow. I mean, kind of, I've been around it for a while. I started out as, like, solid mechanic stuff, and then I had just kind of like a part-time gig sort of a thing, that I guess internship when I was at the academy, that was salvage and pulling stuff apart, that I ended up really liking, being able to, you know, take stuff and make it something else. It's kind of cool. Make it add to its lifetime, I suppose. So yeah, it wasn't really a thing I thought I would be doing before the academy, but once I was there, it kind of just fell into place. I don't remember. How old are you? How old do you graduate? When do you graduate the academy?
It's like 20s, mid to late 20s. Yeah, that too.
That's fair.
If you go straight through, it's kind of like grad school. Like
Yeah.
mid to late 20s, probably, if you go straight through.
Okay, yeah, then she's probably. Yeah, she's probably like 3 years out. Yeah, three years. Something like that, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of thought so too. Yeah, I've got a lot of builders. There's a lot of builders in here now that I'm still sorting through, but it's fun. No, that's me now for the first time. That's the new experience for Kaz, I think. Maybe I'm still not really sure, but no, yeah, it was a lot more like engineer design, or yeah, no one's done the takedown before. We have people in chat saying that we've lost Sam audio.
Well, that's hurtful.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure folks can still hear.
Much like joining to research biologists, nothing would be missed.
Were you science all the way through? Is this kind of, the biomedical, is that the thing you wanted to do all the way through, or is that a later click?
I've been in the field for a long time. It's fairly consistent for me. We should get you scanned, though.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I want.
I
yes.
just
won't hold it
if
up.
if
And then
there's
just, pop up and bounce up too fast and kind of lose the footing in the grab a little bit, and then we'll kind of catch it and be
I'll
like,
catch you on an elbow bit.
yeah.
Just
Okay. Forgot. Lead the way.
Yeah. Not
Cut
quite
tequila.
0, not quite 1.
Cut Tequila still trying to get Vivi to stop bouncing around. Like, no, just calm for just 1 minute, Vivi.
Come up here. It's so fun.
I can't do this.
Deshauna says, I'm ready for whoever you'd like to scan first, Lieutenant.
Is either volunteering to go first? This is a flip a coin as far
Vivi
as
might
Ty is
still-
concerned.
I think Vivi's might still be on the ceiling, so if you've walked Kaz over.
Go ahead
What a
with
feeling,
Kaz.
Vivi on the ceiling.
Yep.
Vivi on the ceiling, the new album.
Yep,
All right,
Kaz
so-
will pop in.
All right, Deshauna places you into the neuro scanning chamber, which, by the way, looks like, it is off to a corner, and you can tell there's a large piece of machinery kind of behind it, powering it. And then there's the chamber where you kind of are placed in and strapped in so you don't float off. And then there is a 3-sectioned transparent aluminum encasing that you are closed into and that they can see you through and monitor you through. This is, excuse me, this is beefier than normal scanning. It is also more focused. So as we see in a lot of Star Trek things, medical bay, they can scan you without having to put you in a chamber of any kind. They can scan you while you're sitting on it, where you are standing, sitting, floating on this, but this is very focused. And so that's why we have a special section for it. And it is going to do a very detailed mapping of your neurons and the electricity running through them to see what's going on.
One of the bonuses, of course, being that the person involved in designing it is familiar with multi-central nervous system setups.
Aha. Hey, that makes 2 of us. Yeah.
It does, in fact.
Yeah. So, actually, then 4 of us. Yeah. That's oh goodness, chronic illness jokes. Yeah.
Not that hard.
Sometimes it's beneficial to have a weird nervous system because you know a lot about it. So,
Sure.
the scan just takes moments. It's very quick, and after a few moments of scanning her neurological activity, up on the monitors next to her, you see the mapping of Kaz's neurons and brain activity. Now, you would have stuff to reference this to because there were deep scans done on all staff before they reported to duty. So you pull up those older scans and you see some things. Not going to have you roll for it because this is pretty basic. If you'd like to roll, it's going to be difficulty 0 to just do a light analysis of what you're seeing.
I know we're full up on momentum, but it would mean that if I do any obtain informations, it would be out of an immediate pool, and that seems courteous to my fellow.
Well, didn't we lose our momentum when we switched scenes?
See, all the
Yep.
more so. I gotta do a
Waka
difficulty
waka.
0 little scan boy. That's
right.
what I gotta do.
All right, difficulty 0, reason science, or reason science.
Yeah, that feels right. Am I using a tricorder or anything like that? Like, is this counting as some sort of assist or
Yeah,
tricorder?
the computer actually, the computer itself.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Would
someone
someone like
say
to do?
computer?
I imagine it's computer's medicine.
Yeah. The if someone would like to roll for Utopia
grab
Planitia.
it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, great.
Oh, that's right. And we only lose 1 momentum, I think, when the scene changes,
Just
right?
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one, not all of them.
Yeah.
17
Yeah.
for yeah. Oh, nice.
All right.
All right. I didn't giggle because the result was particularly notable. I giggled because it was a 6 and a 9.
Hey.
I'm an adult.
Hey.
All right. So bank all of those momentum, but you wanted to get some obtain information, yeah?
Yes. Once it sounded like I get some stuff for free, and then
You do.
I get to elaborate.
You
All
do.
right.
So what you get for free is that you're seeing increased activity. It seems that the parts of the brain that are actually, how do I describe this? Thinking for a moment. There are, in very broad strokes, there are parts of the brain that you know to be activated when someone is in danger, is fearful, when someone is doing deep thinking, when someone's doing creative thinking, or when someone is just at rest and kind of nesting even, feeling safe and warm. It's the safe and warm stuff that's more activated now. Everything else is calmer than it was before.
Is that true of both Tova and Kaz?
Ooh, yes, it is. That's right. Yeah. So, modifying what we saw before, you're seeing a human brain and then, or a humanoid brain, I should say, trill brain, and a Tova brain, a trill symbiont brain as well, up on these scans. And yes, both of them seem to be kind of have this hyperactivation of just like the warm nesting type of part of the brain.
That's genuinely fascinating.
In like a good way or like a bad way? From
Information
behind the
is-
glass.
Science is neutral.
Oh yeah, no, this is Kaz just listening to Ty say things out loud. Like sometimes scientists have different, tones for that particular sentiment.
Joshana says that is really, that's really interesting. Now, Did you, and she starts talking to you, Kaz, did you come in contact, like physical contact with this thing?
Did it touch me, or was it only surrounding me?
It was only surrounding you, and you were in an EV suit.
Yeah, okay. Not like full contact, just like kind of enveloped by it, I guess, but I wasn't touched.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Well, we know that it escapes a typical immunofilter in a transporter buffer. It could do the same for an EV suit if any aspect of it were aerosolized, but given what we saw with Vivi, I would assume it isn't a direct chemical contact.
It's also in a different form than it was than the readouts we found about the particulate.
All the more so. I'm inclined to think that by whatever wavelength it communicated with Vivi, it has now acted upon your neurology, which seems mostly to the good. I'm often told to chill out. It seems your brain has done that for you. Both of them.
Do I feel any sense of this, or is it? Do I just feel normal?
Last session, when you did the roll to see, kind of tap into how this thing was affecting you and making you feel, it put you on edge at first. And then once Vivi started giving it commands and it was releasing, that really calmed you down. And so now you are in this kind of sense of like feeling that warm kind of safety. It's not affecting you as strongly as Vivi's, what she's going through. But yeah, you do feel a little bit of that.
I think maybe there was like a second, like she has to like think about it to like tune into that. Tova is generally a very like mellow person, and so I think she has to like actually like being told that has to like think and be like, oh yeah, there's like a secondary, like there is an amount of this that is even that is just fully settled in a way that she wasn't picking up on before. So she's like, oh. Is that fine? I feel fine.
We have no reason to suspect at this stage that it isn't.
Okay, well, should we get the second patient scanned?
Yes, that would be ideal.
Okay. All right.
No lifting heavy machinery. Go see the CMO.
Okay.
Actually, though.
Like right now?
No. You can do it in 5 minutes.
Nice. She'll go sit down and like she'll go find a little like someone's office chair that's like halfway up the wall and will like pull herself up and like sit and like hang out until she's actually made to go.
Okay.
CMO.
All right. Joshana floats up to Vivi and Keela and says, "We're ready for you in the imaging chamber." Can I bring you
Imaging
over?
chamber. Have I done an imaging chamber? This place is just so cool. I really love working for Starfleet. Are you ready?
Yeah. We're
All
ready
right,
for you.
Let's go.
All right. So you float back down to the corner. She places you into the imaging chamber, closes it around you, and they do the scan.
I'm observing,
Oh, yes.
obviously. I take my job very seriously.
You can come sit up high with Kaz if you want.
As
We'll just
Vivi's
sit,
keeper.
kick our feet.
And then my
I
baby's
am.
keeper.
Oh, I already had to. Spending 2 threats.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I don't like that.
Uh-oh.
Vivi,
I find out how
before
that
the
results.
scan even happens, your extra filter glows again.
Whoa.
I don't see that, right?
No, this is
No, it's
all
not.
in Vivi. You might see the reaction on her face, though.
And this is still that like good endorphins feeling.
It's going back to the hold. Hold.
It's okay. It's okay. The tube's not scary. Vivi starts sending out like calm everything is going to be okay energy. Like, I trust these people. They're good people. You don't have to worry about me kind of feeling. Like, I trust them. They wouldn't hurt me. They're friends. They're good.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm giving out like friendship energy.
Okay, calming friendship energy. I think I will have you roll.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Difficulty's 3. This is a new environment.
Okay.
And
We got so much momentum. If you want to take an extra die.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a momentum.
Yes, yeah.
all right. Yeah,
All right.
difficulty 3, presence command again, because you're telling this thing to calm. Calm. Wusa.
19.
Oh.
Okay, that's one roll. That's not a success.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
You have 3 die because you bought one, right, with the momentum.
Yeah. So 7.
1 success. You need 2 more. You need a crit.
I got a crit. I'm not kidding. It's here on my thing. Oh, you can't see it. I got a crit.
All right. Great. So that's 3 successes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you give it that Husa command from before.
Release.
And it releases into Hug Wusa.
Thank you for
and-
Thank you for protecting and caring.
You all do the scan, and Ty and Keela, you get alerts from Salvage actually, and Kaz. You get alerts from Salvage saying. You get alerts from actually Salvage and the orbital shipyard. It lit up again. What's going on? People are just kind of this chatter on the network about another reaction having just happened.
Interesting.
And then it calmed down, though. It's almost invisible again now.
Can we hear the storm from in
The
here?
storm seems to have lightened back up. It's back to the heaviness of it has passed, and it's now kind of towards the end of the storm. So just tiny pitter patters.
Not directly correlated. Okay.
Right. There wasn't like any big impacts from the storm this time.
It just got scared. Got scared about the scan.
What do those scans look like?
Okay. Yeah. So
Wait. Well,
That seems-
as I get the alerts, I'm gonna look at Vivi. I'm like, Vivi, with your permission, I would like to try something.
Permission granted.
Keela.
I'm going to. I'm the worst Starfleet officer.
Now I gotta hear it.
Like the worst.
It's gonna be good.
Man, this is like McCrell level. Why do I always play chaotic good? I'm gonna grab like a.
Remember that she's in the imaging chamber. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna grab a little something, like a little medical thing, and be like, "This is gonna sting," and just like hit her ankle with it,
Ow!
So you
and
open
then
the
watch the alerts.
You open the chamber and do that. Hold. This time, it goes straight past you, Vivi. You feel your vision start to cloud with the iridescence. Again, chatter on the network of Utopia Planitia. Up above in orbit, it has now encased not just the ship, it's starting to encase the whole structure that it was being held in. That's where we will go to break.
I just wanted to see if they were. Oh man!
Oh, science is dangerous, Keela.
Look. You know, I'm still learning the whole Starfleet thing. How you? Look, it was just a little sting. She's fine. Oh shoot.
people that you're still learning the Starfleet thing. Keep that one on the down low.
Hey, look, I was just recruited by Starfleet Intelligence. I'm still learning my
You're
stuff
like,
here.
look, I just found these pips lying on the floor of a
Look,
shuttle, all right? I don't know what's
I got to replicate it from the back. Yeah, I picked him off of Haringi Trader.
God.
No one's noticed that
All
they're
right,
bottle
folks.
caps yet. It's weird.
Tiny
They're actually the peel away bubble gum. You know, those
Yeah.
little, remember those little peel away candies?
Yeah.
used to
I don't
get?
even know what I'm doing
dots,
here.
Yeah. With that, folks, we
Whoops.
will return in 10 minutes to see what happens next with Entitina and Vivi.
That
All
was,
right. Be back here. See you
whoops.
soon.
As you enter the cave, the darkness envelops you.
I have dark vision.
They say at level 20 you become a god, but I'm gonna do it by 17.
Teach me.
Oh, sad little DM can't remember her stupid NPC names.
No more inter-party romance.
I don't know what that means. Can I get a slice of that?
I can't hear you.
Just one slice.
Yeah, I'm actually done.
I see a whole pizza right there.
Viola, what do you do?
I don't even complain when you leave your Legos everywhere for me to step on.
Avatar: The Last Airbender isn't an anime.
So you're a sex worker?
I'm an actor.
Why didn't you say you were low on HP? I hope you freeze to death waiting in line for Hall H.
What can I say? It's got drama. It's got intrigue.
Go!
It's got pathos. How could I refuse?
That's what you take from this? I'm sorry.
What the fuck is an owlbear?
My son, the Terran Emperor, has merged with an entity of great power. As a Terran, conquest is a way of life, but he has gone too far. Now, we must join forces with enemies, or face obliteration. I want to bring him back from this, but I'll do what I must to stop him. No matter the cost.
This is Defender. We could use more armored units at City Hall, and we have wounded here.
Red Snake, you have incoming contact. Witchcraft, Ironclad, Black Mask. What's your situation?
The undead are numerous and running amok. We're falling back to 4th Station Steelhead.
Go forth, my children, and feed upon the living.
I'm just finishing up my patrol now. What the? I was wrong. Things are starting to heat up.
The battle rages onward. Victory will be ours.
Calling all champions. This is a global distress call. Report to the nearest crisis zone and engage the enemy.
Metahumans ejected. Changing targeting lock.
There's something happening down below in the North Dark Reaches, and I need someone to find out what. A friend of mine, a dark elf by the name of Braylon Janquay, sent a message up that he'd found something unusual, but then disappeared. I need to know what he knows.
Hello, we are back with more Clear Skies Perseverance, Episode 5. And as we dive back in, I believe we left off with Vivi being pricked in the ankle unexpectedly by Keela in a...
I was doing an experiment.
Impromptu science experiment.
If Vivi knew it was coming, it wouldn't have worked. Now we know. Am I right? As I look around, no.
The IRB is screaming somewhere.
Yeah.
Jashana says, well, yes, if you were trying to see if this thing, Entitina as you're calling it, reacts to Vivi being in danger, it seems like yes.
Okay, well now we know. See? Science or whatever.
On the scans that you're getting for Vivi, the similar area of home safe nesting is also lit up, but also there is another part of the brain that doesn't actually have an association so far. In Starfleet, in humanoid medicine, there are lots. There's still, we're in the future, so they've done some learning about the brains that we haven't yet, but there is still more. The brain is very vast. There's a lot going on. So there's a section of the brain that is lit up. It just seems kind of like a bundle of nerves and neurons that are especially lit up in Vivi that, number one, were not lit up in her before, in her previous scans. And number two, they're not normally lit up for anyone. No humanoids, no humans. It's usually this is just gray matter that just kind of helps conduct other things through it. This seems to be a bundle that either didn't exist before or just never was lit up this way before.
Feel free anyone to check me, but my recollection is that in Starfleet, they do, as part of evaluations, a sort of standardized Esper rating of the cadets. Is this an Esper correlate?
Wait,
activity in this?
What does Esper rating mean?
As I recall, in Trek, and again, I could, for all I know, I'm just pulling totally different sci-fi property, but as I recall, at least, there's some limited awareness of the kinds of extrasensory activity Vivi's talking about, and it is quantified in a rating, the ESPER, Esper rating.
Oh,
is this
got it.
the Esper correlate?
It is not. It's close to it. That already has been activated in Vivi's scans before because she is known to have ESP. This is something else.
Does Vivi see what's going on the screen? Does she have any idea what's going on?
If you'd like to, you can step out of the imaging chamber and get a good angle to look at it.
So Vivi comes out of the chamber and she kind of looks at it and she looks at her brain and says, What's that? It's all sparkly.
Well, you'll be pleased to hear that's off-white matter.
Off-white matter? Is that where they keep the soul? Is the soul off-white? Is the soul real? She's having a lot of endorphin-y thoughts. Did you just discover the soul? This is bigger than we thought. I think I'm high.
A little bit. I think you got some endorphins. I think you got a lovely dose of oxytocin. There's probably some serotonin running around. You've really just got some neurotransmission.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so we don't know what all of that's lighting up is. For me, it just feels like, it feels like I've got a buddy with me, not with me, but with me, who, how do I explain this? It's like, if love was tangible and you could feel the caring and the love that everyone had for you in a real way where you can see the way that it radiates, like the way that it reflects off of everything around you, and you can feel it behind your eyes even when they're not there. It really does feel like being cuddled by an old friend you never knew you had.
I cut my eyes.
Or something. I don't know. It could be the endorphins. I think it just wants to. I think it's trying to find ways to maybe protect my brain, or maybe this is how we talk.
Does it feel like talking?
I can try. It doesn't really talk. It's kind of more a bunch of things. So Vivi is gonna try to reach out to Entitina again, and just be like, "Hey, like, thank you so much for being cool about the ankle thing," and she's trying to find a way to do it. So she's like, and then like grabs her ankle and like rubs it to be like, "See, it's fine," and then looks over at Kayla and it's like, "We're buddies," and then like puts out more things of like, "These are my friends, we're safe here, they're trying to make sure that we're all safe. Do you feel safe?"
So knowing how you've been able to communicate with this thing before, full sentences and stuff,
right,
not so much. How do you break this down?
I've done hug, hold, release. I think for this I want to do Doctor. I have an idea. With permission, would you mind scritching me on the top of my head?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Scritches.
Oh, wow.
See? You're feeling insane, aren't you? And just letting that kind of reverberate through my body as like a way for it to feel that, and to question like, "Hey, like, is this how you feel? Do you feel safe?"
Okay.
Have to add that to my thing. Head scritches.
Yeah, we're gonna make this, since you are piece by piece building a language with this thing, Entitina.
Comfort maybe.
Yeah, we could. If we were to give this
Not
a word,
head scratches. Comfort.
Or scritch, just scritch. You know,
Scritch.
That scritch.
Good.
It doesn't work as well through the wig, but it's good.
You can get in there. Get one of those like skinny, you know.
Yes, like when those rat tail combs.
Yeah, exactly. So scritch.
Comfort.
Roll for
I'm also
scritch?
gonna roll for scritch. I'm gonna reduce the difficulty because you are. First of all, this bond is clearly getting stronger, and every time you roll successfully, it's just becoming stronger and stronger. And you've rolled successfully a lot. So now I'm gonna start making this difficulty 1. Especially because you're not commanding it; you're asking it a question too. So difficulty 1, and insight command or presence command, however you'd like to approach this.
May I roll a scritch assist?
You sure can.
Thank you.
Scritch assist. Control medicine. Control medicine. Yeah.
Amazing.
Control. It's fine motor skills. You know.
If I am correct, I think we are still maxed out or near maxed
Can
out on
Utopia
momentum.
Planitia aid? Sorry, no, not really.
I will definitely take a momentum because I'm going to need one with a 1. All right, and I will roll first.
All right.
First roll is an 11.
Difficulty 1. Yeah.
Yeah, first roll is an 11.
All right. That's
second roll is a 6.
All right, 2 successes.
Third roll, come on, baby, is 6.
3 successes.
Wow.
And Ty, what was your
1 success for Scritch? I rolled my number precisely.
You are all the way maxed out and over and beyond above.
We're killing
We
it.
should use it to create an advantage with respect to Entitina, perhaps.
Like
Catalog of
Entitina, I will
communication
poke
advantage.
them. I was just. Whoops.
Yeah. So let's discuss what would you like to have as an advantage or something that you'd like to establish with Entitina.
Would it be, I'm almost making Entitina my familiar, I feel bad, but would it be one of those things where it's like, please stop doing things on the ship unless I tell you that, or unless like my vitals are so where it's like important? Like just make it so Entitina isn't constantly like freaking out and like
Maybe like established calm, like you just.
Yeah, and just be like, hey, like I will let you know when things are going bad, but I don't want you to stress yourself out constantly not knowing what's going on. Then maybe Etitina will feel better at having to not constantly be in fight or flight.
So maybe we can attribute to Entitina the trait responsive. Like they're in the practice now of responding to your communication, responding to your vibes.
That's perfect.
Yeah. I will also add to that, you'll get a 5th language module. Not, you know what I mean? Word plus gesture, however you want to think of that. So there's hold, there's hug, there's release, there's scritch. And now this one is telling Entitina to chill, basically.
Relax.
Relax.
Yeah.
Relax?
Relax.
Okay.
Don't do it. Perfect.
Relax. Okay. And yes, you're able to, spend your momentum and you create an advantage where now Entitina will relax when you give her that command. Also, wait, sorry. I do want to make sure we get this, though, because Danielle, you also did give the added detail of not just relax when I tell you to. It's like, don't expand unless I tell you to.
Yeah,
So
if possible.
That's important. That's important. So, yes, we'll make sure that's part of this. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a different way we can describe this command.
I like calm or like
calm.
Settle or
settle. How does that feel to y'all?
Settle's really good. I like settle.
Yeah, settle. Settle. Okay. So this all is happening. And now is a good time for us to pop back on over to the office of Commander Veluth. This walk and talk has continued, and the door is open. Kamenuk is watering some plants when you come in, having your discussion. What part of the discussion are you in now when you walk in?
I think Veluth would, because there are some things that he wouldn't say in the open, but he would say, I've taken to heart your concern about the redundancies in the warp core that are part of Starfleet's protocol, and I share those same concerns with you. But I will need a thorough proof of whatever suggestions that you might have for how we can improve this. I will need to be able to present it to Starfleet, with you, of course, taking the lead. Only then might we advance the technologies that we place in every starship in Starfleet's fleet.
Yes. Well, thank you, Commander. As of course you know, one of the youngest graduates ever of the Zephram Cochrane Institute of Propulsion, and being mentored by Dr. Leah Brahms, also being a former member of the collective, I know absolutely nothing about being thorough.
Sarcasm?
Heavy.
Understood. Once we get into the office, I think Veluth is going to make a point to take off his badge. Doctor, I don't believe that I have been fair to you, and I am certain that Starfleet has not been fair to you either.
That one, sir. That one. That is the one. The first one I have not sensed from you. It's the second one that's annoying me, sir.
It's the discrimination that you can't sense that's often the most deadly. And for this, I do owe you an apology. That badge carries with it a weight that I cannot, while working in my standing as commander, avoid. I want to let you know that I am very well aware of the expectations and prejudices expected from XPs. While I cannot directly share in the suffering that you must have endured, I can say that whatever it is that you need to feel more at home here at Starfleet, I, as a Vulcan, will do all I can. When that badge is on, I do have restrictions on the uses of my power, but I can assure you that every decision that I make, while standing in line with Starfleet rules and regulations, I will carry out with empathy and understanding of your predicament. You deserve better from Starfleet, and Starfleet needs to recognize that.
There's something that a lot of people haven't truly grasped about what it is. I haven't heard anyone adequately describe what it is like being assimilated. But what I have tried to explain to people, Commander, is that when you are, you don't necessarily experience suffering the way people think you do. Because you don't know where you begin and end anymore. It's difficult to describe, truly difficult to describe to a fellow organic mind what it is to be assimilated. The suffering in being an XB comes afterward when individuality is restored and you become aware of your trauma. This is my way of saying that the collective is easy compared to what I've had to endure since the collective. I'm getting used to this. My father was a young man during the occupation on Bajor. And I have a lot of... I'm very lucky to have the parents that I have. And I try not to complain. I appreciate what you're trying to say to me. I do. And I hope I don't come off like I don't appreciate. I think sometimes it's very difficult for me to focus on anything except for the work, because in true typical fashion of dealing with, if you'll forgive the vulgarity, sir, the shittiness that is a body that has been put through the ringer and a mind that has been done the same, the work is a refuge and it's enjoyable. When Starfleet tells me that despite my accomplishments and who I am, that the work is being leashed or unpermitted, you're taking away more than just innovation in the field of engineering. You are limiting my capacity to be who I am now. It's no less than that. And I know that's not your doing, Commander. I do. And I appreciate that you're lending me a sympathetic ear here. But while I understand Starfleet's anxieties, and I acknowledge that I am in a very delicate position, I am the director of propulsion at the Utopia Planitia shipyards. What's to say that I don't receive a transmission from the Borg Queen one day and decide to infect the entire Federation, right? That's the big fear, that somehow I'm just going to blow everything up and turn everyone into cyborgs. Get it. But I was a child when I was assimilated, and I was still a child when I was freed from the collective. So I'm ready to move on from that when Starfleet is.
I respect your perspective, Doctor, but if I may, I believe I believe I may have miscommunicated. What you are hearing now is only partially driven by what you would refer to as sympathy. Bigotry is a disease. If left unchecked, it can compromise the station and therefore compromise Starfleet further than it has already been compromised. If I do not stamp it out, if I simply act in a system that is inherently unfair to you, then it is in fact my doing, Doctor. By finding the solution to the problem, which is how to make Starfleet feel like home to you, it is bigger than simply our interaction. It is me performing my duty in protecting Starfleet. The fear, Doctor, whatever the source of it may be, is irrelevant. You have proven time and time again that you are capable in your job. In fact, I would say, reviewing your record, you are more than just satisfactory. You have done your job well. I have made note of this often in your record. If you are hampered, then we are willingly stopping our progress because of fear that Starfleet has stated that it has left behind. We cannot allow that to continue.
Bigotry is a tumor on the thyroid gland. Sure. No question.
Yes.
Well, it seems like we're in sync here.
Very good. I was worried I might have to offer you a mind meld. That was my attempt at humor.
Anyway, a tractor beam.
Tractor beam.
Yes. There are at least 3 decks that are being unused, at least not used properly. If we turned those 3 decks into essentially a giant compensatory channel for the plasma energy that is coursing through the Ross class, of which the Ross class can barely handle anyway, because as you know, 2 warp cores and not enough of an circulatory system for that much energy. Now, you could take those 3 decks and simply install an entire new system and get rid of the entire promenade deck altogether. And I have just the idea of how to do this. I was doing some research, and I noticed that one of the fields in which Starfleet struggles the most is, especially in the post-Dominion War, post-Klingon War era, has been our inability to reestablish lost footholds in portions of the Alpha and Beta quadrants where Starfleet colonies of the distant kind are well supported. We've taken damage to our infrastructure and we've never adequately restored it, is what I'm saying. Anyway, the point is, in doing some research, one of the things that I discovered is that starbases, of course, as you well know, are very time-consuming to build, and especially when you're trying to build one in deep space, this requires shipping a lot of material out into the far reaches of the galaxy and then setting up a construction yard on the spot and building it as we go. I think I could cut that time down by about 45% by turning the Ross class into a giant tugboat. Hear me out. You see, with a secondary warp core, the Ross class suddenly has the ability to create an extremely expansive, large, extra warp field bubble. Now, nothing too big as to surround an entire starbase. No, you would have to give large pieces to a Ross class. It would still save time. But this would mean that pieces of a starbase could be constructed quickly near a home base and shipped out to its location, a piece at a time, as opposed to having to move it all the way out there, get the supplies out there. And you see what I'm saying? You follow so far?
This would change the very foundation on which we design and produce our fleets.
Well, I can't take full credit for the idea. An engineer on the USS Voyager named Belana Torres came up with something called a subspace tractor beam. Now, apparently, this is a tractor beam that is able to compensate for the distortion in subspace fields, which is one of the biggest possible hurdles to jump with something like this. Even when transporting something through warp field bubbles and through subspace, subspace tends to interfere with tractor beams. There would also be, and though I'm reluctant to say this, there could be a defensive or possibly a military application to the tractor beam as well. The captain of the very first Ross class was very fond of using a tractor beam to solve all of their problems, and I did a lot of research on some of their tactics and discovered that in the right hands, you could turn a tractor beam into a battering ram, into a tractor beam, and you could essentially use it in all manner of speaking to basically have the most powerful tractor beam the fleet has ever had. Capable of transporting pieces of star bases, stopping pirates from fleeing, that sort of thing. It's a work in progress. The second idea, of course, is, and I'm loath to implement this, but we've seen this on some of the blueprints to the upcoming Manticore class, and that would be essentially turning the saucer section of the Ross class into the biggest, nastiest phaser bank ever created by Starfleet, capable of drilling a hole through the crust of a planet. It's possible. I would prefer not to hand them those blueprints, though, Commander.
I see. Doctor, I can't help but find myself intrigued by your theory. If it's all the same to you, I would very much like to reassign you. You will be overseeing the implementation of the warp core of the Gonzalez Sanabria, but you will dedicate your time to the development of this theory once the Ross comes in.
Excellent. In which case, I would want to request additional personnel, as tractor beams are not my field of study. I'm propulsion, sir. I would need an expert to help me come up with, well, to tell me if what I'm trying to pull off is within our reach.
Granted. Until I can find someone with that particular area of expertise, I will let Ty know.
I do have a suggestion.
Do you?
She's retired, but and he hands you a data pad with Belana Torres's personnel file. It would do me a great amount of good if she would be willing to help me in this endeavor. I know I'm asking for a lot, and I have no idea where she is, but if we could ask her to swing by and perhaps show me how it was that she was able to create this tractor beam. It wasn't successful, it wasn't sustainable, but this technology is 30 years old. We could easily do this today. I just need an expert.
I'll make the call. And while I know that this can't erase your entire experience with dealing with Starfleet, I do hope that you will find this to be a good first step.
Sir, I appreciate that. Starfleet is not going to change.
Unless we change it. He puts the badge back on.
He looks at you with total sad resignation. And with that, he says, anyway, thank you for your time.
I think before you get out the door, he's just going to say, from what I read, many Vulcans had an uncomfortable experience at the beginning of the Federation. Spock inspired the union, the true union of Vulcans and humans. Sometimes it just takes the right person, Doctor. I believe that could be you. You're dismissed.
I'm not Starfleet, sir. But I'll leave
But
your
you're in my
office.
station. You get as much of a smile from a Vulcan as you can.
Okay. Nods and he'll step out and head back to his quarters after taking a moment to himself and just.
And the last thing Valuth does is press the button to chime tie.
Okay. Well, back over in Biononos, Jashana has been, just kind of like downloading the scans you did, kind of taking deeper dives, looking at them, just crunching the data of the scans. And the rest of you, what do you do now?
I'm guessing my 5 minutes is up. I have to go to the doctor. I have to go to see the CMO. Get a full scan, I guess.
I don't
Tova will...
begrudge you the reluctance to see this particular CMO. You know, if our CMO were anything like that Andorian, but I'm sure this is not just professional petty. But I'll let you know if we need to do any follow-ups, Lieutenant, and you're certainly welcome back.
Oh, cool. It's fun in here. And she does like a little like hop and then like floats back down. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel okay, so hopefully they'll just do more scans and I'll get to go back to work? I don't know. We'll see where my day goes, I suppose.
Stay out of alien bubbles.
I will endeavor to do so. Thanks for the caution, Doc. I'll see y'all around, and we'll kind of like spin on heel and head up.
Anytime.
Do I need to go to a CMO?
It is, in fact, significantly more important in your case, given the tremendous activation and energy that is happening around you.
The answer is yes, and I start dragging her away.
Okay, before you get her all the way out of the room, just...
Oh, right.
Thank you. I know Kaz got out of that safely because of you. Thank you.
Oh, well. Thank you. And you know, thanks for the scritches. It really helped. All right, Entertina, you ready to go? We're going to make new friends!
Okay.
Oh, right. And then, and as we leave, also, I'm like just rambling to Vivi, going like, I mean, if you're connected to the entity, that means also the entity is connected to you. We need to know exactly how much it's understanding and communicating with you, and you with it, and also, basically, is security. Is there any security protocols that I need to... Basically, Keela's kind of freaking out because if Vivi can communicate so easily with it, how much does the entity know? Are there security measures and basically doing the whole... Basically, this entity could be a spy connected to Vivi. In its sense, I have to take all considerations into effect. This is my job. To sick bay!
To sick bay. And Vivi's like, hey, you know, I work with Starfleet. I'm not a member of Starfleet. So I don't really know if the entity has really picked much up except like, you know, the best kind of faucets to use depending on what kind of bathtub you have.
That could be very important information.
Do you want to talk about it?
Something no, actually, no, not at all. Oh. But congratulations on the faucets.
Keela's cool, huh, Entertina? Yeah. Yeah, good friend.
Yeah, super cool. I'm like in my own little world on my tablets, slightly figuring out how much will this. I don't know. I think Keela's slightly paranoid at the moment because now seeing how connected they are makes me very wary of what to do with Vivi now.
Okay. So, Vivi and Keela and Kaz sounds like you're heading to the med bay. But before we follow you there, no, we will follow you there now.
Yes, because
Looking
I'm
at the
about
time.
to I'm about to fade out into existence.
Yes.
Turning into a pumpkin.
Once again,
So,
I have to work.
I didn't have a particular scene in mind, but if anyone else wanted to have one there, I just would. Tova is following instructions.
Yes. Okay. So we'll skip ahead. You all arrive at the med bay. You enter and you see this is quite a large med bay. Again, it's all in the same habitat building that you've been in all day. I think you all have, right? Yeah. But once you came over from salvage into Bio-Nonos, you're now in the big habitation building. But you head down the hall and up a level, and you're in the biomedical bay, which is pretty big. It has 30 beds, all kind of splayed out into kind of a semicircle. Stations, full stations at all of these beds, and multiple nurses crossing all around this room. And there is an office at the center back of the room. And you recognize that as the CMO's office, the Chief Medical Officers of the station. Dr. Urza Nur, who is half human and half saurian.
Yay.
She steps out, having been alerted to expect some folks who have had interactions with an unknown being. She steps out of her office. Tall.
I have said everything in advance.
Yes, you have.
In a very nice file.
Tall,
it's color
very
coded.
Very lanky, pale skin. Saurians are the almost not reptilian, but like very large eyes. What's Doug Jones's character's name on Discovery? That's
Saru.
Saru. Yes. Oh wait, sorry, that's Saurian, right?
I love Doug Jones.
Yeah.
Kelpian.
That's what I meant, not Saurian. Wait, why did I? Oh, Saurians are like lizards. That's why they kind of are similar in my brain. Yeah, thank you. That is what she looks like. She looks like that, but with some softening of the features, not as fully saurian because she is half human. But that's who is walking down in her medical whites, walking down with her 4 pits, walking down the med bay towards you all. She says, "Welcome. I was told to expect you by Ensign Keela. How are you both feeling?"
Oh, God, awful.
Oh, no.
Nothing, I'm rethinking this whole design. Do the semicircles work? Do that make people feel better about themselves? I can't tell.
I think it was more the structure of how the each bay needed a certain amount of space, and having it be slightly arced created more space for each bay.
Okay. I just want to make sure that everyone isn't making each other miserable, you know? Good vibes here.
Well, here, have a seat. She points you to 2 med bay beds that are adjoining, and nurses come up and start. And she says, yes, give them full workup. So you relax. We'll take care of you. We'll get you out of here in no time. You seem, if you're okay, of course, we don't need to keep you here for any type of treatment or monitoring. But please also let me know if there's anything unusual that you are experiencing. That would be good for us to know so that we can follow up on that.
Could we have brought the scans over from Ty's lab?
Oh, it's already sent.
They would have been sent
already
over.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's absolutely.
Okay.
Tied up with a little bow, color coded.
Spreadsheet, time stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how am I feeling? I am currently feeling a good amount of love and purity and peace for every creature throughout this universe and all known others. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. I would also add to that now that you've created this new command, the 5th command, Settle, You have the feeling of, how do I describe this? You are the captain of a ship at the tip of a wave, a tidal wave. That tidal wave is not moving, but you can feel the energy of it coursing beneath your ship. And if you gave the word, it would surge forward. That's how you feel with the command settle.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Is this what it feels like to have an assistant? I just feel like at any point, I've got this vitality in me that just wants to like burst out. And I mean that literally, like there is something in me that wants to burst out, but also in that way that I just said. Does that make sense?
Let's not focus on bursting at any time. The last thing we need is for this entity to also burst. I would say let's do the whole, I've learned about this. It's
Isn't
called,
that human Lamaze?
I just feel like we should probably just kind of like hum or kumbaya some things. I honestly feel, Vivi, that all of this is very new, and in order to keep this place secure, I think you're the key to keeping everything calm.
Yeah, let's see. I was in a band during my time on Earth, but I don't have my glockenspiel. So Vivi's just thinking of ways to keep everything.
No glocking. I've heard that's one of the instruments that's very sensitive to me. Maybe no singing, and then because I've heard Vivi sing before. Maybe just like some calming things. Maybe if we put on some music to calm you.
From literally last episode when Tova went in to do suits, if she had like a little like music player, like whatever the equivalent of a Star Trek iPod is, and she'll kind of just be like, oh, and we'll kind of like reach into her like front pocket and be like, I mean, I've got fun little selection. We can just listen to music while they,
just something calm,
relaxing, calming.
Yes.
Doesn't allow the entity of unknown origins to kill and destroy everyone on right here on the planet and planets other. Fantastic.
That would be preferable. Yes.
All right.
So
just chilling. Just chilling. Nothing terrible happening to anyone on Utopia Planitia. Let's go. Okay.
Tova looks down at the thing and like has a moment of, oh, that's a lot of pressure, and then we'll scroll through and try to find something.
I think there's like some 21st century music that talks about putting young offspring in a very cold environment, chilling in their crib. Sorry, I can't get it.
Oh, like a human infant.
Tova's gonna go back and find some her like trill. She was off homeworld. She was kind of like a remote, grew up kind of on like a remote planet. She'll find some like local music that she would have grown up with. I think she'll find and she'll be able to share with them. And she's a very like someone who absorbs a lot of information, so I think she'll like talk about what she knows about this. Here's a fun little fun fact, and like we'll just kind of talk the entire like just ramble about things like and this song is whatever as they just kind of have to wait for scans and things, and kind of will fill the air with
and
anything
Vivi's,
to keep Vivi chill.
Vivi's just chilling. Yeah, she's doing that face that Tom Cruise makes when he's like making sure that you know that he's paying attention to you and you know he's not. Oh, yeah, totally.
Dr. Urza and her staff of nurses and assistants are just kind of buzzing around you, doing these scans, checking, comparing tricorders and things like that. And Dr. Urza actually glances at you, Keela, and says, have you had that checked out?
Wait, what?
Have you had that checked out? It looks like you hit your head.
Oh, it was fun. It was just a bump, really.
May I?
Sure.
And she puts a tricorder in front of you, and just you hear that scanning noise, and she says, "Oh, Okay, we can get this fixed up really easy for you. No concussion.
Oh, obviously. Sorry, I even forgot that happened. It's been it's been quite a day.
I'm sure. And she just tricorders that bump away from when you ran into the tree in the arboretum. That was
beauty.
today.
She is
that was
great.
earlier today.
That's right.
It's been a long day. Okay. So, with that, leaving our two patients here in the med bay to get full scans, we go back over to biomeds, actually, right after they leave. And Jashana is at the station, kind of floating in front of it and kind of moving these neural scans, overlapping them over the three of them over each other, the Trill, the Symbiont, and the Denobulin, to compare them and then pushing them apart. And she says, yeah, I'm seeing the ESP is obviously not present in the Trill and the Symbiont. Of course, that's to be expected. But then the three of them also share this shared activity of that like home nesting part of the brain. But then Vivi has this other thing. And that is not in the other two.
Vivi's the more active communicator. For what it's worth, it's not impossible for a Trill to have some sort of Esper sensitivity, though Vivi indicates it's clearly not solely that, but it's rare in joined Trill, so unless Tova has a particular family history, no reason to suspect it. It's undeniable evidence of the sentience, though we were right to delay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess the question is Vivi just inextricably linked with this thing now?
Inextricable's a strong word, but they are very tightly linked, and it appears to be a feedback loop. I got the impression that Vivi initiated the attempts to calm down Entitina, but as you saw here, she was equally affected.
She initiated attempts to communicate with it through her ESP.
That's what she offered in her history, yes.
And all the other communication attempts with it before were just nothing.
Nothing terribly responsive, I admit. We hadn't even gotten as far as establishing sentience, so communications attempts were relatively limited.
Well, I'm gonna keep kind of chewing on this conundrum because, wow.
Check it against the storm. It was sensitive to that, which means there is some level on which it can perceive. If we can find that, that could, in turn, unlock the nature of the connection to Vivi.
So how does it perceive? We want to find that out.
Exactly.
Okay, great. I'll start working on that. Also, are you... is it... Are you aware of the... Never mind. Oh, nothing. Never mind. I've just never seen you,
Oh.
Yeah, I've never seen you like that before. Are you aware of it? Sorry, I didn't know if I should say anything because, like, if it's just subconscious and you're not even aware of it yet, then I don't want to embarrass you, but...
So wildly aware.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, no,
That's beautiful. That's incredible. Oh my god, that's glorious. So, okay.
It can't.
It can't.
She can't.
She can't.
No.
She can't know.
No.
I'm not going to say anything. but I'm a big fan of this. I'm just gonna say, I'm a huge fan of this. This is really wow. This is like the best. This is the highlight of my week right now. Wow. I mean, that's really lovely. I just have never seen you light up like that, and also just get so sweet and and interested. You know.
Oh,
Wow.
stars. I'm gonna go replicate like a tea or something. Just we're hitting some chamomile or something.
Just Shauna goes back to the display and just kind of peeks over at you and smiles, and then goes back to work. Okay.
Is it then that I get the chirp?
Yes, that's when you get the chirp. You have just replicated yourself some tea, and you get the chirp.
Go for Ty. On my way. Ty pauses. Is this going to take long enough the tea will cool? The tea goes into the replicator to be.
Okay. So, skipping ahead. Doors open to the commander's office.
Commander, you'll have my report about the preliminary results by the end of the day, but I can't write it if I'm not at my desk.
I'm very certain your report will be thorough. Uh-oh. We having a sound issue?
Oh no, am I like...
I'm not muted, I swear. Okay.
Okay. Lost Nor audio?
Oh, no, we're good.
Are we back? Okay, great.
I'm sure your report will be thorough, but that's not the reason that I asked you here. In order for things to run smoothly, I find that it's best if the people that I work with are able to trust that I have their and their colleagues' best intentions in mind. And I wanted to review the incident today to ensure that that trust is still present with us.
Do you not trust me, Commander?
Quite, of course, yes. I was concerned that you might not have trust for me.
Oh, that's warranted. I'm going to take a little bit of a spin around the office, just sort of look over how you've been decorating.
I'm not so certain that it is warranted. I want you to know that I would never let anything happen to Lieutenant Cass.
Do you know what hypoxia can do to a symbiont brain in 4 minutes? Especially, I just discovered that Kaz is newly joined. There's neuroplasticity that goes on. The cell proliferation requires a more oxygenated environment, or rather, it doesn't thrive in the absence thereof. That was just one of the things that occurred to me as we waited to do something while our transporter expert tried to get her out. No. It was you. Do you have an engineering background, Commander? I suspect you do, to have this position. No?
Yes. I am an engineer, or at least I was before I took this assignment. As for things that occurred to me during this particular incident, I'll have you know that I am very well informed that Lieutenant Tova is joined. Something that I did factor in the decision that I made.
So, What's that supposed to mean? How do you factor the joined ones on your station? Is there differential treatment I should know about?
I work tirelessly to make sure that this station is one where there are no such prejudices. And the very fact that you are only enlightened to the information that Lieutenant Tova is joined further exemplifies that I am correct in making the decision that I did, as I had information that you did not.
Oh, I assure you, I knew from the moment I heard her name that she was joined. I just didn't realize it was so new. Commander, you are in charge. It is exactly why I deferred to your orders in that situation. Because I don't have to agree with them. That's not my job. But, Commander?
Yes.
Reliving your glory days as an engineer is not your job either. There are experts who could have tried to get her out of there and might have been able to do it in less time. Were you, sir, emotionally compromised?
I can assure you I was not emotionally compromised. I can also assure you that with the time given, I was the one with the most expertise for the given situation. If we were to call in someone with more expertise, that would have taken more time, which I can only infer is something that you would have had a problem with.
I don't suppose we'll ever know. Hard to put a stopwatch on a counterfactual. But we don't thrive from research and shipyards being at each other's throats.
No, we do not. I can only assure you that I had no emotional reasoning for the decision that I made. But, in the sense of full transparency, I should make you aware that I have known Lieutenant Tova far longer than our time spent here at the station. I fully believe in their ability to endure and survive. They would not be wearing the uniform if they could not. Danger is, of course, a part of Starfleet. It is a part of the job that is regrettable but necessary. There will be times when Lieutenant Tova will be in dangerous situations. I hope that the next time, should there be one, it will not strain the relationship between you and I. Also, if I may be so bold, I would investigate whether your accusation that I was emotionally compromised may be projecting. Perhaps it is not I that was compromised.
Oh, I was. I don't think I was alone. Of anything else, I'm glad to hear at least you were stopping me in order to save your friend yourself. I'll take a little emotional compromise in a commander. And at this point, I will take a seat.
I was working
maybe on a nice windowsill.
I was working to save a colleague. I would have been emotionally compromised if the decisions were made to save a friend.
Of course, Commander.
There is one thing that you have brought to my attention that I can't help but agree with, though I would very much like to. My understanding of Trill culture and physiology is lacking. Perhaps that may have factored into this situation, and I could have put the lieutenant in danger. You are right to question me on that much. Is there something
I trust
that
you.
need?
In the name of transparency, you have. I will too. You knew Tova.
Yes.
I knew Kaz. She doesn't know. I had a different name then.
Will this be a problem with you performing your duties?
Until today, I would have said no. But rules are there for a reason. If you don't know about Trill culture, there are some culturally requisite non-interactions that should have happened.
I see.
I've had to deal with them. I don't want it to be her problem, too.
Speaking to you strictly as Valuth, not your superior officer. I mourned Tova. I mourned my friend. That is why it was simple for me to make the decision that I did. Because my friend is no longer there.
I promise you she is. And so many more friends, too.
Logically, this cannot be true. The Tova that I knew was not influenced by the experiences, understandings, and knowledge of Kaz. The person working here is an entirely new entity. One that I have attempted to galvanize myself to potentially know and understand. I have failed thus far.
Well, you should work on it. I have it on good authority. She's very lovable. Is that all, Commander?
For now. I look forward to your report.
You done the reading for book club?
I have a feeling that I might be ill during our next book club scheduling. Unfortunate.
I'll make a note.
Yeah, he just leans back and contemplates.
Okay. And with that, it is nearing the end of the workday. And we'll just kind of do a quick not recap, but retelling of what happens the rest of the day. So, Kaz and Vivi, you get your full medical scans. They do agree that there should just be some extra monitoring of Vivi, but you both seem very stable and healthy and fine. And so they release you back to your quarters. I'm going to skip over the dinner time. Whatever happens, you all do for dinner time happens. Because I want to talk about what happens at night when Vivi goes to sleep. Vivi, what kind of dreams are you having tonight?
Tonight Vivi is dreaming. It's not so much, there aren't so much images at first as it is just she's dreaming a feeling. She's dreaming feelings, and she dreams, and then as those feelings get picked up, your brain does what it does and kind of like anthropomorphizes them into like people. And so she kind of sees this scene of maybe a colony of folks. Everyone is loving and caring, and then suddenly she again feels, but like her brain's interpretation turns it into like then suddenly out of nowhere there is a catastrophe, and it's stressful, and she can't figure out if there's an attack or what it is, but all she can think is like hold, and she feels this need that people where she's dreaming need help, and kind of sees, and she can't tell if this is her projecting what she thinks is happening or if it's her what she actually saw. She sees dead bodies, and she feels this urge to, I can't help by myself, I need to get somewhere where I can help these
Vivi,
people.
Yeah, I'm gonna add more visuals to this too. This place, this colony of people, you feel like you're in a soft valley, like very, very soft, tiny, tiny blades of grass. And you yourself are kind of tiny too. Like you're towering over these people. It's almost like it's a land of hobbits and you're Gandalf. Like you're kind of visiting them. You're looking, they look up to you physically, but also they're kind of like, wow, she's so powerful. Also these people, they don't have faces. They don't have like arms and legs or forms. They're kind of just blobs, bloops, but they're people to you, and you feel their presence both individually and as a people together as a colony. And in this very soft grass valley, these people are gathered around you and looking to you, and you see, yes, there are some bodies, some dead bodies scattered on the edges particularly, and they're looking to you. Hold. And I want you to go ahead and roll control command.
Ooh.
Difficulty is 4 because you are asleep.
Come on, Tina, keep it together, girl. 20.
Oh dear.
Do I have any momentum left?
Well, yes. Even with the new scene, I think there must be.
We should have a bunch. We were maxed.
Determination will let you reroll if you want.
That is true. Yeah, you could use a determination to reroll that 20.
Okay, I re-rolled it and it's an 18.
Better than 20, though.
Better than 20. All right, and then 10. Okay.
The difficulty is 4, just to remind you.
Okay, and then I get one more, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. 13. 13.
Okay. That's not enough successes. Yeah. And they now start to climb on you. Hold. And they start to hold you with their bodies, press against you and cover you up to your neck. And in the dead of night, we see Entitina spread out and start approaching Utopia Planitia and Mars. And that is where we will end tonight's session.
Oh, no, the station!
Come on, Entitina, get it together!
Thank you all so much for playing and for watching.
Nice chill.
I saw all the
game back.
pearl clutching comments in the chat. We will be back next week for episode 6. This VOD will be up within the next day or so, possibly 2 days. But in the meantime, check out the rest of the VODs if you need to go back and watch. We're finding out a lot about Entitina and Vivi's connection. What shall happen, we shall see. Everyone, have a lovely night. Thank you so much, Mike Faden and Cryptic Studios. And peace out.
My trail babies.